Elio guys, and welcome back to another episode of Infinite Magicraid. And in today's video, hopefully is the start of kind of like a daily / weekly progression series where I basically talk about what I've been doing in terms of my global account here, because I am starting a global account just to hang out with you guys. The Discord literally went from like 16,000 people to like 33,000. It's just insane overnight. So it sounds like for the most part you guys are having fun, and feel free to join the Discord if you haven't already. Feel free to @me in case you guys have any questions here. But let me stop rambling about that and actually give you guys some actual content here. But here's my account. I do have baby girl Eden right now just as my profile picture. And my name is Elio up here, but I did the old trick where instead of that being an L, it's an I, because I couldn't take my original name because that is on the original server. So I may end up swapping that, like in terms of the original server, to something else just so I can use it here. So stay tuned for that. I've also made up a guild too, so if you guys want to join that, feel free to join it. I also have a Discord for the guild too if you guys are interested in joining it and hanging out with your boy there, because I could give you I guess more sufficient information if necessary here. But in terms of my day one account, let's head over here to my heroes just to show you guys what I'm working with. So here's the list. There's not that much. I haven't hit the second pity yet for my summons, which I do think I have enough summons to do a couple more for this video right here. But basically I'm rocking Holder. There's Eden. There's also Jennifer, Natalie, and the lovely Maya right now as my main crew. Now, I would love to drop Eden in the future, but you know, looking at what I have here, there's nothing really of value that I could use. Rosalia is one I mentioned in my beginner's guide too. She's a great unit, and I highly recommend people try her out because I have a A5 one on the beta account, but in terms of this scenario here, since I've already used her and I already have one built up, I personally just don't deem it necessary for me to make her again. Like, I already used her. I know that she's great. So I am interested in trying out other epics, especially for this account here. And yeah, I didn't end up with no Sigmund action, no Oakman, no Hizanja, no Melia, no one like that. Like, we are just rocking this crew right here. But if I had to pick anything or any unit to go in the future, it'll probably be Eden. But at the same time, I'm trying to like put some hope into my secondary legendary, and then I may make some switches up here. But basically what you guys should be rocking is 3 DPS at this point, depending on where you are at in the campaign, because I'm still at the part of common. So if you are in hard, or if you made it to nightmare, then you may be switching over to having Whim in your composition, or at the very least Reliant. But you are going to need a dedicated healer. You should have at least 2 DPS, and having one support or 2 is fine as well. If you guys literally start the game today and you don't have Whim, it's not a big deal. I didn't have Whim for a long time on my beta account, and he came out just to woodworks. Like, one day I got a Whim, a couple of days later I got another Whim, a week later I had like 65,000 Whims. But I'm going to go ahead and do some summons here just because, and I'll kind of go into detail too about what I pick and choose if I'm going to sacrifice something here. So that was a lovely pull right there. There's Longbeard, which I haven't really experimented with, but the game has given me him, so I could technically kind of invest in building him. But when it comes to like keeping characters that you may want to build in the future, or just basically blasting a character immediately, just come over here to that character, look at the skills. I do have a tier list, by the way. It is active and updated all the time, so feel free to check that out. Shameless plug. The link to that is in the description below here, but take a look at him. Okay, so he can provoke, he can also reduce the enemy's attack by 40% for 2 turns with a 30% chance. Booking him up does nothing, so that move only does a 30% chance for that to stick. That's probably never going to work. Passive, he can restore his own HP by 6% of his lost HP, plus 5% of his max HP. And then he increases his self-crit rate by 25% for 2 turns. After that, he deals single target damage, 2 stages of 140% attack damage. Garbage. Dude can do nothing. Absolutely. There's nothing reliable in, you know, in terms of his kit, there's nothing reliable. Yes, he has debuffing features to him, but they're dirt nasty low. Yes, he has buffing features to him, but he doesn't even buff the whole squad. I don't want him, so I would blast Joseph in a heartbeat. Longbeard, though, he deals 140% attack damage to a single enemy and kind of restores his own HP. That's great. And then taking a quick look at his second skill right here, he gains 20% of his attack for 2 turns, and then he deals 200% attack damage to a single enemy. I don't really like that. He also gains more leech if he crits. And then right here, he does a 3-stage AoE of 70% attack damage to all enemies, and this also ignores 50% of the target's defense if this skill lands a crit. So I would say arguably usable, just not optimal in this situation. So if you end up pulling a Longbeard and that's all that you have, feel free to use him, but I would definitely say in the future I would definitely phase him out. But I mean, if you're literally just starting the game, you don't really have that many units, use what you have here. But also in terms of things unlocked, there's the guild that I have unlocked, and I've already done 2 of my guild runs, which were absolute garbage because I began the game like today. I also did some arena battles. Arena is very important for you guys to do because you do get buffs, just like a weekly buff in terms of doing the arena. So regardless if you win or lose, you get points, but you also get buffs that kind of take your character up a little bit. It adds more percentage values to your characters here because if you click on the lovely tier attributes, we see attack rate up, defense rate up, HP up. Like, look at this. It doesn't seem like it's that much, but once you're hitting like 5%, especially with your HP, which goes up by 10%, that is pretty chunky for your healers and just your DPS overall. So making sure that you stay topped up in terms of the classic arena, in my opinion, is a very great idea. And then you also get PvP rewards at the end of the week, which is another great way for you to earn purple shards. On average here, I would say I would earn roughly, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 purple shards at the end of the week from PvP and just doing dailies alone. So I would be constantly doing purple summons. I would say either once, twice, maybe on a good week, maybe 3 times a week. So we're talking about 30 summons, because while it's not proven here, what I like to do with my wishes, any wishes excluding the supreme wishes, is I wait until I hit the 10 times wish value. So if I have 50 of these guys, I'll blow them. If I have 10 of the excellent wishes, I'll blow them. But if I have 9 or something like that, then I'll just wait until I get the next wish to blow it, because to me it seems like I'm at least guaranteed a nat 4. I'm not saying that it works out that way, but from, you know, the process that I've been doing since I've been playing the game, I feel, I guess, a little bit better. I can sleep a little bit better at night doing it that way here. Then there's also the market here, which I did cover in the beginner's guide. I am out of money, but I would pick up the excellent rune if I could, because, well, I need double the money that I have currently. Getting the refined rune shards, mandatory. Getting the fodder, mandatory. If you have extra gold laying around, feel free to get the experience potions, because those will come in handy later here. Once again, more shards. There's more units that I could buy, and I probably should buy, but I wanted that freaking shard here. So, you know, this is day 1. We don't really need to cover like the arena store and the event store, because the game literally just opened up for everyone here. You want to make sure that your dispatch is topped off too, because this honestly, combined with like the idle play, is one of the best features that you can be rocking to take your Infinite Magicraid squad to the next level. You get experience here, you get gold, you get gems, you even occasionally get dragon eggs once this gets to a higher level, and it also increases the length that the dispatch goes on for. But that's great because you can load the game up in the morning before work or school, come back after work or school, and then dispatch is ready to go for another long haul. You know, pop in at the end of the night and congratulations, you have lovely rewards like that. And there are 4-star eggs that you can get too, which is lovely. So make sure dispatch is going off all the time. And Temple, Forge, and the Sanctuary isn't unlocked at this point in time either. Make sure you guys are topping up on your friends list too, because if you have friends, you get energy and also shards, and that means money over time. In terms of dungeons too, I don't really have anything unlocked other than the Space Temple and the Guild Boss, which I've already completed both of these guys. But say for instance you're watching this video, you're way past me, make sure when you log out the game, if you can, you burn your Tower of Mark freaking keys to the ground. Make sure in terms of Faction Abyss too, if you want to save it up and kind of wait until the end of the day and just like put it on like multi-battle or something, that's perfectly fine too. But the goal of this is to make sure all of your resources are always like non-existent, because that means that you're using them, and that really builds up over time here, which once again I have not unlocked. But outside of that, in terms of the world map of where I'm at right now, I literally just beat stage 7 and we're heading over here to stage 8 after I complete these lovely campaign quests, which I need 1 level 60 hero. Now what I'm going to do is, because I have Holder right here, I don't have a copy of him, which is unfortunate, but in this case too, Even though I know that Holder is a great unit here, I'm just going to level him up until he gets close to the cap, because I can get him up to level 100 at this point in time. But if I'm not getting multiple copies of him after a certain threshold, maybe after a couple days, then I'll probably hold off on him, because I don't want to invest in getting a specific unit to A5 as an epic when I could pull that unit tomorrow, or I can never see another Holder again. I don't want to risk that regression. I personally just rather keep him at level 100. That way I'm not investing too much into him. 100 isn't that really big of a deal for an epic. Honestly, I would say 110 even, which is Awakened 1, isn't really that big of an investment. But once you go past that, that is when things get dicey and also spicy here. And I guess I can quickly talk about his kit as well, or I guess in terms of gear. So taking a look at his gear, he's just rocking the crit set right here. I have just a double crit set up there, basically. I'm just trying to get his crit rate up, which is unfortunately dirt nasty low because I have nothing unlocked. But that was my whole consensus. But at this point too, you could probably just give him like an attack set, because with that crit rate being that dirt nasty low, it's extremely unreliable. Eden is over here. I didn't put any equipment on her whatsoever, so if you were going to put equipment on her, I would rock maybe an HP set if you can, and also the speed set. Jennifer is rocking a mix in between crit rate and also attack, but you can go full attack too, just because her crit rate is dirt nasty low. Natalie came from my Supreme Wishes, which, you know, we got in 2 for the pre-registration rewards. She came out, so she isn't part of my pity, but I had her, so I did the same thing. She's on attack and crit rate, so I'm kind of already prepping myself more towards like the Forge sets, which is good. But in this scenario is also bad, because I could just spam attack until I actually unlock the Forge and get better equipment. And then Maya over here is just rocking HP. Her main job is to heal, keep everyone else topped up in terms of their HP, and that's pretty much it. The rest of these guys, they're hanging out. Eventually, once I get deeper into the story though, that is a great time, especially in terms of like the Hell stages or Nightmare stages, that if you're stuck somewhere, pop in a unit that you don't really use, that you plan on using in the future, level him up, because you can still use him in the Faction Abyss later. Also, one last tip too, is depending on what units you guys pull, you can also start focusing in terms of the Tower of Mark of what you're going to be rocking in terms of that Tower of Mark. Now, what do I specifically mean by that Tower of Mark? Well, depending on the elements of your characters, especially if your 2 legendaries that you've gotten at the beginning of the game kind of line up here, then it's probably wise if you kind of go down that route. But at this point in time, for this account right now, in terms of uses, if I was to theoretically able to do the Tower of Mark, I would be pushing the water one, or basically the blue one, because I have 4 units right here in the blue mark status. So I have a healer, there's 2 DPS, and there's also Christian as well, which once again kind of makes sense to help synergize that going on, so I can at least excel in one area to a certain point. Then if I get more elements, I can kind of spread out with that as well. But in terms of having good units, that's the most important part about the Tower of Mark. You don't want to be building freaking Longbeard paired up with your Holder and your Eden, because I don't have a dedicated healer for the Tower of Mark. They're going to pass away and there's nothing I can do. So I would definitely wait a little bit longer to see in terms of Tower of Mark of what you can focus on. But try and keep it one element if you can. Sometimes you just don't have control over it. But definitely having like a legendary and a healer for that certain Tower of Mark will bring you a long way in the beginning here. But I think that pretty much wraps up this video for today, you guys. In terms of skill books as well, I've dropped 2 into Holder at this point in time, just because that was requested from the lovely campaign quest, and I haven't really dumped anything else into anyone, just because I'm waiting on another legendary. And honestly, if I don't really get any good legendaries with my 3rd one, I may just end up keeping them, because it's not that Natalie or Jennifer is terrible, it's just I know that another good legendary is literally just around the corner. I could literally pull that next legendary a couple days from now, and I'll be like, well, I dumped all my skill books into freaking Jennifer, and now I'm mad. So definitely kind of prep for the future if you can. Hopefully you guys are having a very good time. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Join the subreddit if you guys haven't already. Check us out over there on Discord, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.